How to create and pitch long or buy ideas. Okay, this should be a lot of fun. Okay, I've shown you the template before that you can use, and I want to give you a couple of examples here. Here are 9 examples of long ideas I've written up in the past, and I've used these to put positions on at my firm, and I think you can use them as well to get a job or to get promoted. And so I actually created these things, these one-page templates, and used them in a number of hedge fund interviews and got the jobs, I think, because of this. And so I want to share this with you. Let's take a look. Okay, so there's a number of different examples here, and here is one I used back in, looks like it was 2011, when I was running my hedge fund slash venture firm. And this was a long idea in eBay at the time. And you'll notice in this one, I only include a fundamentals and a valuation section. I did not include a technical section because for this investment, I was assuming that technicals were less relevant. And it's a long story, but sometimes some investors that you deal with don't like to look at technicals, especially mutual funds. And even in the hedge fund industry, some hedge fund portfolio managers hate technical analysis. And again, I'll teach you all that stuff soon. And so in this case, you can see I talk a lot about valuation. I have my numbers here, earnings wise versus the streets. I even put the numbers down here in terms of what people were expecting for revenue and for earnings. I always like to have a one-page snapshot on every major decision I have in investing. And I actually had a binder that had several hundred pages of due diligence that was accompanying this one pager here. I really rolled up my sleeves on this one, and so I thought the company was worth $41 on a sum of the parts basis. And back then, I was thinking that, my goodness, you could actually get PayPal and the rest of the business for free, right? In fact, I thought if they renamed the company PayPal at the time, you probably get multiple expansion. Anyway, I'll let you read this. I talked about the drivers, the competition, the risks, the financials, the management team, and the bottom line here, all on one page, which is easy to read. Okay, and so there's plenty of examples here, and I'm going to attach a lot of these for you as well, and you can take them and manipulate them if you'd like as well. And I would usually save these in PDF format and follow up by thanking the person I met with, saying, thank you very much for your time today. I enjoyed the conversation. Per our conversation on Citrix as a long idea, for example, I've attached it. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks a lot, Chris. That's it, whatever. And here we have, again, fundamentals, valuation, and then there's technicals here. There's technical support here and resistance here. Again, technicals is the last thing you should look at. And I will go through a lengthy technical session, but you can see the bottom line here is on this section as well as on the others. Okay, cool. What else do we have here? Oh yeah, this is Verizon. And this was a decent long idea if you're a value investor and you're worried about valuation in the markets. Okay. And so this company had a beta of 0.56, which means it's only half as volatile as the stock market because it's got a high dividend yield, right? So people want to own cheap stuff, right? So anyway, that was this one that I was analyzing. And in terms of catalysts, I thought, well, heck, there's mobile broadband, there's 4G longer term, new handset offerings at the time from Android, Storm, etc. Okay, and that was back, I guess, in 2009. And I always like to talk about stuff from a risk-reward perspective. And I didn't have all these positions on, but I would write up a lot of these positions. And sometimes you'll start writing up an investment thesis and filling out this template, and you'll only finish half it, and you'll realize, you know what? I've done my due diligence on fundamentals, and there's no point in looking at valuation or technicals because I think it's not a good idea. Okay, so always think upside, downside, risk-reward. Cool. All right. Next up, we have got Apple. Please don't ever pitch Apple in an investor meeting. I've got it here just to show you how I was thinking about Apple at the time in 2008. But the reason I say you don't want to look at this or pitch this idea is because everybody owns Apple and you're not unique because of this. So you want to pitch stocks that are lesser known, but are still have enough volume that you can transact in them. Okay. And so here's a write-up on an international idea, which was Baidu. And the mother of all catalysts for this company was, I think back in, it was early 2010 when Google decided to pull out of China. That was an incredible catalyst for the company. Anyway, you can see my investment thesis there. And then there's EMC, and this is a sleepy tech company that had really good valuation support because they had an 83% owning in VMware, which was an awesome company at the time. And so I mentioned the management team, and Joe Tucci is great. Technicals we look at, valuation, and again, I'll go into technicals in a lot more detail very soon. And I think you'll enjoy the technical section, especially if there's a trader in you. All right, cool. So another idea here is a healthcare idea. I'm not all about tech. I've got cyclical and healthcare ideas here. This is a company called Mead Johnson. And then we've got an idea here on NetSuite. And I love this idea because it was so long-term focused, right? And basically the thesis here was that NetSuite would basically get a large percent of the market in the cloud computing market longer term, and that it was cheap longer term compared to other companies in the sector, including Salesforce and SAP. SAP at the time had a market cap of $60 billion, right? And Salesforce had a much smaller market cap than that. But I thought, heck, if Salesforce was just focused on cloud CRM or cloud sales related software, and SAP was focused on old school client server software, then NetSuite, which was focused on cloud for all of the different things SAP does, should longer term have a much higher market capitalization, right? And you can't buy a stock like NetSuite if you're worried about near-term valuation. And so, valuation on these stocks really looks high. You see it there. I don't care. I don't care because I love looking longer term. And the best investors, especially the mutual fund investors, which I respect tremendously, they look out 5 years. And before they do due diligence on a company, they ask themselves a basic question, which is this: 5 years from now, is this company going to be more relevant or less relevant than it is today? Okay. And then you work out what your price target is based on your numbers in 5 years.